people look their best, expressions are at their absolute best when the subjects are not thinking about photography, when they're just totally into the actual situation. I'm really there to be a witness with an eye and a heart and a quick finger on my shutter. My idea, my thought, and others as well, to be fair, was to be reactive, to be the quiet observer, the journalist, the person there to report what we saw, not to improve it, arrange it, stage it, prompt it, fictionalize it, just to capture it at its best.
Jump out of his shoes and run down the aisle. He was like, I really didn't think he was gonna wait there. But he was like, you know, all oh yeah. The bride, you know, the whole night. But his reaction is like 1 second.
I was actually a football player in high school, and I injured my thumbs of all things, couldn't play anymore, but all my friends were on the football team, so I went to the coach and said, they won't let me play anymore, but I want to do something. So he said, well, you can be the team water boy, no interest there, or the team photographer. And I thought, I don't know a darn thing about photography at age 16 and a half, not even 17, but I quickly learned, and I cut my teeth, if you will. I learned photographing football from the sidelines. It's something that actually later on in my career as a professional photographer of weddings, it would serve me quite well, because I learned then to be on the sidelines, to watch intently, to anticipate the action. And to make myself at the right place at the right time and capture without any manipulation, without any orchestration, without even speaking. That's really, when you get down to it, it's precisely what I do today, but not so much at a football game, but at a wedding.
Jeff, it's Christina. How are you?
I'm gonna quit college.
I'm gonna quit calling her. Okay. All right. See you. Okay. Bye. Oh, okay. Thanks for seeing it.
After college and into the 80s for me, 1980s, when I was coming up with this style and developing it, it was, I love photography and I love weddings, but how I could bring this quiet disposition to a wedding and explain it, I needed a phrase, and I began calling it, I guess in 1980 or so, wedding photojournalism. And the idea was to be at the wedding as a reporter almost, as a journalist, someone there to report the news and not to make the news, to be quiet, to be observant, to report what I saw, not to make it the way I wished it was. So this reality-based documentary photography, which within itself is not a new style, but I was trying to popularize it, if you will, for the wedding market. The idea of someone 6'3", broad-shouldered, being in a room when ladies are pinning their veil and adjusting their makeup and such. it brings with it a challenge to disappear. I think much of this journalistic air, this journalistic direction is attitude, the attitude of being quiet, to not be the center of attention, but to be that historian, that proverbial fly on the wall.
You just see a peek of it from the top.
Yeah, perfect. And the buzzer will be down. See all the It's like,
She's ready to
My mission is to watch intently, to have my peripheral vision always sharp, and to be very attentive to detail. I like to work where I'm not really known. My best assignments are ones where I just sort of come in, I look like a wedding guest, I wear the same attire. If they're in suits, I'm in suits. If they're in tuxedos, so am I. Or if they're in Bermuda shorts, so am I, because I need to be inconspicuous, I need to blend in.
All right.
Does that hurt?
Sure. We're good. Is that good?
Let's see. No, I need to do a little bit right here. Just a little bit right here.
I do also rely sometimes on longer lenses to keep my distance, to preclude the subject from being actively aware of what I'm doing. That seems to help. But most of all, to be honest, I think it's more of an attitude, that I'm not commanding, demanding, requiring attention, but rather I'm happy in my quiet, in the shadows, from the sidelines sort of demeanor. And I find that people look their best. People give me the expressions that I want when I'm not coaxing them or prompting them for it. So if I've got a secret, the secret is to be unseen, to be unheard, and to be not the object of their reaction. I can't do any better than the groom seeing that bride for the first time, and the fact that a lens is documenting it, a photographer documenting it, should be totally incidental and not in any way a part of where that expression comes from. People look their best. Expressions are at their absolute best when the subjects are not thinking about photography, when they're just totally into the actual situation. I'm really there to be a witness with an eye and a heart and a quick finger on my shutter. As odd as it may seem, I actually find not knowing folks that closely is actually somewhat of an asset. It seems odd because I'm a very close and warm, personal kind of guy. I love relationships with people, my kids and my friends and such. But at a wedding, I find that to be almost unknown is even better. For them not to know my mission or not to know me well. So how was your Saturday night? So how did things? I can't have conversation because it's counterproductive to getting